Maar hij viel uit en ik wist dat niet, want ik was in mijn huiskamer. Maar ik ga weer beginnen met mijn livestream. Als ik een item heb gekregen. Ja. Is lekker. Item van YouTube en Epic Games krijgen. Dat is best wel vet. En mensen die willen weten hoeveel bij Ajax PSV staat. 2-0 voor Ajax. Dus. Ik ben zelf voor ADO. Maar bij de wedstrijd ben ik voor PSV. Dus. Maar ze staan achterin. Ik hoop dat ik een item krijg. Komt die 3, 2, 1. En daar is die hoor. Meer dan 20 minuten gekeken. Dat moet je doen. Dan krijg je deze spray van Fortnite. De World Cup. Veel plezier met kijken naar de stream van Fortnite. Veel plezier. Tot straks.
Leuk just kind of ran away, but I don't believe Leuk was able to grab his teammate's reboot card. So will basically be by himself for the rest of this game.
You know, it's going to be almost impossible to perform alone when your teammate is knocked. And there's the Storm Surge warning. These guys are 106 above it. You guys can see that, which means that there's somebody who has 106 damage less than them that is currently below the threshold, and they are going to need to hit some people, deal some damage. And that's actually the beauty of Storm Surge, right? You don't necessarily only want people kind of just lingering around in their one-by-ones, praying that the circle moves to them. You're gonna see some fights that are gonna be forced to break out because players need to get above that or they're gonna die. They're not gonna be able to make it.
Now moving towards the Dusty Divot Diner. You see Clicks and Skeptic. Yeah, the very young duo from NA East, and you just said yourself, I didn't even know you could farm this.
Didn't even know you could get down there.
This is the beauty of it, right? These are the top players in the world showing off the little things that they know that really no one else can pick up on. Many teams already stacking here as there's so many materials to be farmed up. And for a lot of players, Ninja, once they get max, they don't just stop there. They keep farming to have an excess for more if they need to expend a lot of materials quickly. Yes. On the bottom right of your that's going to be Serpent and Hype.
Serpent and Hype in a pretty decent spot. You're seeing, if you guys can look on the mini-map that we're staring at, every single team is now in the safe zone. Everyone is safe in the next circle. It is moving in. And double-heavy sniper is in play. For those of you guys who do not know, a heavy sniper will take out a metal wall. It'll take out pretty much anything. It does 1,500 damage to structures. So if you have two teammates who have double-heavy snipers, they can see a team, line up a shot of somebody hiding in a one-by-one, and be able to take them out.
And that changes the game completely. Once you hear double-heavy, you can no longer sit still ever. Or if you know where they're at, you have to make sure you have at least 2 walls of cover on that side to protect you from the inevitable double snipe. And when we say double snipe, it's as far as 1, 2, 3, shoot. And they both fire at the same time and catch you off guard.
There's absolutely zero time to react. And one thing you guys we've talked about are the rotation items. We got 6 shadows for this guy, and they have a baller, so they're sitting pretty. I think these guys are in a great spot.
Absolutely. And you see the zone did just update towards the northern side of this current storm. Storm Surge is now in play, so players beginning to drop. 80 players in total in this game. They will just rotate on out of here. Hype and Serpent don't want the fight. And that's Jay now quite weak. With Storm Surge beginning to tick in, Quentin and Lanouf now having to push a fight as Storm Surge is affecting them as well. And you see it just kind of smites them down from the heavens, and there they go. getting dropped by Storm Surge. Unfortunate for them, but again, with not enough damage done, they do fall below that threshold.
Jeez, man, Storm Surge really does just force people into some pretty tricky situations. But again, man, it just goes to show a lot of aggressiveness is going to pay off for teams, man. You don't want to be put in that situation where, you know, you have to desperate and push. Maybe a duo that's better than you in combat. You know what I mean? And Airwax and Nikov
That's a replay.
Was that a replay? They just went down.
Airwax and Nikov are winners. Well, Airwax at least are back-to-back winner of the Pro-Am. Does go down. Airwax double qualified as well. Tough first game for them as they do go out quite early on. 71 players left in this game, 38 duos. Again, it's a slow crawl as everyone begins to drop. Have you ever seen anything like this in competitive?
No, I think that the only time that we saw numbers like this were when the circles they didn't really chunk that much and they were more centralized in the beginning of competitive. So really no one had to rotate that much and no one had to fight. So now that these circles are really just kind of moving around the map, you can't really predict them. I mean, you're getting these players who have, again, the great aim and they're just beaming people who are focusing on trying to rotate in the circle. Now look, there's so many people coming from the south right now. And it's just free kills if you guys are in a top position with solid aim, man. You're going to Texture right now, already getting beamed. He's spamming the spacebar, trying to make it as difficult as possible to hit. He sees a lot of, look at it, already trying to figure out right now, where's he going to land? Look at all these people who are already boxed up. They're already creating these tunnels. More shots coming down. And he's going to be able to make it. 8 grenades. So that's going to be, I mean, if he can get in a position where some players are already getting focused on the outside, 8 grenades, he might be able to clean up those kills too.
Yep, that's right there. They do box up in time. Did take some shield damage, but thankfully they have some minis to replenish that in just a few brief moments as there's Eclipse now using them. He's got his teammate right next door as well. Medkit, so they're going to pop that too. Every little bit of HP matters. Saving the campfire for the late game, it appears.
Definitely got to save the campfire.
In the elimination feed right there. Here's a look at Mongrel earlier with his duo, Mitro. They're set up currently in this zone. 68 players left.
I mean, here's, you just check his inventory. Only got 2 guns right now, which is infantry rifle and a combat shotgun. So he has no spray guns. All right, spray guns are, you know, anything like to an SMG, tactical assault rifle, SCAR, anything like that. You know, you've got to have a gun that can shoot pretty quickly to kill players and hit players through their 1-bys. Look at that healing too, though. Yeah. 5 slurps, 2 slurps, 5 chug splashes.
And they already have a slurp ticking. This is insane.
They're super close to the zone as well. They don't have to move too far.
Yep, and material-wise, look at that, 135 total builds. They're in a fantastic position to make some noise in game number 1. We'll definitely keep up to date with them. The slipstream slowly inching towards where it begins to shut down Ninja, but with so many slipstreams still available in this current zone, a lot of players are going to use that to rotate on in freely without using launch pads or the shadow bombs. There's your whole map right there. The eastern side of the zone. None of these players really going to be into play. They're going to have to inch a little bit more towards Loot Lake if they want to be safe.
Some of the best, I mean, look, these are the best players in the world, and look how close they are to one another, man. I'm so excited when they actually have to force into these fights. The Storm's going to start pushing them. Look how, I'm sorry, man, I just can't, man. You guys notice also, Stinks, man, these players are so talented. It's going to be so hard to spray through their walls and actually deal damage to them. Yep. So you need things like grenades, like Stinks, right? Little fart bombs is what I like to call them, to force people out of their 1-by-1s and try to shoot them as they're rotating away and trying to build new 1-by-1s to dodge the Stinks.
You see the Stinks right now going down on Mongrel, and Mongrel gets immediately ripped in 2 as it seemed like the lobby began to focus him right there. His duo still alive.
With good rotation, luckily.
Definitely has a bunch to, you know, to be able to play with. The next Storm Surge has begun to kick on in. Mitro, 12 damage below, will have to begin to put shots down range. The zone pushing as well. So in this position, with the zone at their back, Mitro's goal, spray at players who have to push from the zone. They have one way they can go. They can't afford to take storm damage. They've got to push right at him, and Mitro knows that. Now begins the fire. Dubs just below as well. One of the players who qualified multiple times through solos and then once in duos.
They also have some great rotation. 2 ballers still intact. And here's the thing that you just mentioned, all these players who are going to be rotating in, being forced to rotate in. Everyone knows that.
Very little ammo, though. Look, these are the last 9 assault rifle shots in Dubs' inventory. It is getting scrappy, folks. And there's the split. Still, though, only 80, meaning combined between the 2, they really only have about 150 shots to work with. The zone still pushing. 61 players left. Reminder, folks, this is game number 1 of 6 today in the duos competition. Dubs does go down as a player got that back wall. He wasn't quite ready for it. Mega frantically backing on up, trying to create some space. Will he be able to
He's going to be able to pop that slurp. He's got
the storm surge on.
He's trying to be aggressive. Oh, he's still below, right? He's going to need to be aggressive. He won't even have time to revive his teammate. His teammate got finished, actually, so he's got all the shields in the world. He can get back up to full health. Storm Surge is still ripping him apart. That slurp is barely keeping him alive.
Hitting him for 25 damage every time it winds up ticking. There it is again, dropping on in. Mega's hand is forced. Some big damage right there, still below. As players are continuing to drop all around, but Mega doing a solid job of keeping himself alive right now through the Storm Surge. Fantastic composure. Again, one of the young players on this stage looking to try to secure the title of Fortnite World Champion. No more dubs. The duo
still
down.
So now finally above.
Yep.
Finally above. And guess what? The most important thing to realize, guys, look at that rotation. Yes, he's alone. Yes, his teammate's down. But he has an incredible kit to not only make it to late game, but maybe even clutch this win out.
He dropped the
shotgun.
Okay, there you go.
Got the combat shotgun, one of the greatest shotguns to have late game. Does incredible damage, long range and close range. And all the guys, the circle just rotated now into the storm. Massive amounts of distance needs to be covered.
This storm surge is insane. It's still going on.
Finally taken out. 52 players left. And this is where things are about to get serious, guys.
Thomas drops some ammo right there for his teammate, Inclusion. And you see Thomas, that epic infantry rifle, one of your favorite weapons, Ninja. What is so good about that assault rifle?
It 100% rewards pinpoint accurate players, right? There's no bloom necessary. Your marker, your aim is right on their head. Boom. You're going to get that headshot. You're going to get 80 points of damage. And there's now the upgraded versions, the Legendary and the Epic, have 10 shots instead of 8. So, I mean, it just packs a punch, man. It can really catch players off guard. And that's exactly what you're going to need when you're playing against these top players who will literally build and protect themselves when they get shot once.
Folks, there are 45 players left in this very, very small zone. We are now on our 6th storm. You see it's about to begin to move, and players will frantically have to go across the map. Zayt and Saf right now discussing exactly what they should drop, pulling up their map, looking exactly where they have to go. 44 left in this one.
We already got people using shockwave grenades, guys. This is a very far rotation for the second movement circle, so this is actually going to move very quickly. These people are going to potentially get stuck on their launch pads because there's so much frequent building. It's going to be nuts. And who's going to try to take the high ground? Because after this first circle goes, this is where people start to only try to use the high ground.
And we know high ground is everything in competitive Fortnite late game. Everyone frantically moving away from the common enemy of everyone, which is that storm circle. Macwood taking zone damage. Daedra as well. King slowly bouncing on through with the shadow bomb, and does land. Yes, but taking no storm damage, just playing right on the edge of it. Yeah, right on the edge of the zone right now. We'll just stay boxed up for a brief moment. As now there's 36 players remaining, stomping the elimination feed. Arkram now goes down as well. You can see the elimination feed on the top left to keep track of your favorite players. There's so much is going on. This is what tunneling is. When you hear players mention tunneling, this is it right here. You move with the zone, you tunnel your way in, give yourself cover, but not a lot of materials left. Only 22 builds, and this zone is stacked. But look who's on the high ground. It's Mr. Savage and Benji Fishing.
That would be your 2 picks, so good for you. All right, I have to owe you a bet there, man. That, all right. Bongo, unfortunately, do we still know if Nitro's still alive? I mean, listen, people are dying left and right, being eliminated. More Savage just used another shockwave grenade. He already had high ground, though. The question is, are people going to try to take it? You know that if you really want the chance to win this, you're going to have to try to take the high ground off him or have a rocket launcher to just take him out of it.
He's just so weakened. Mr. Savage just looks up and beams the player out of the air. It's all Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage in the elimination feed right now. 24 players left in this one. But 20 duos. There's almost no duos remaining, Ninja.
Right, it's all solos, and this is kind of what's going to happen, man.
Mr. Savage goes down.
It's up to Benji, and listen, Benji's been in this position before. We know he can handle it. Nitro's still in the game as well. I just saw him. He looks incredibly healthy, but now taking some storm damage. Benji's just going to try it. Look at the materials. Not a lot left. They're only using their shadows. I think he has 1 build left.
Yep.
That's it. That's all he has.
He's got 10 total builds.
10 total builds.
He's just trying to outlast as many players as possible. Remember these placement points. We've made it into our top 10 duos. Now into our top 8. Zayt and Saf now. Zayt and Saf now on the high ground.
This game.
One of the few, the only duo left. This has a Zayt and Saf win written all over it. Mitro, Mongrel's duo. was all by himself and very early on. Still alive in this one. 40R Storm now getting beamed. Can the North American duo of Zate and Saf close this out? Raining down fire from up top. You see the frantic builds coming in. Benji Fishy goes down. Mega, Mitro, and Scarlet on the low ground. Shots still coming on in. Zate and Saf just sitting pretty.
God, Mitro just got a double, I think.
Mitro
5 limbs.
tries to get it done. Not enough. Zate and Saf, 2 versus 1. Will they take game number 1? Yes, they will.
Zate and Saf had the high ground, and they used it the entire game. Rain fire from above. We're able to pick up 5 limbs plus 10 placement points. That's going to be 15 points. Game 1.
Talk about a monster game number 1. You saw the immediate reaction. They know how key that was. And I've watched so many games of competitive Fortnite, Ninja. They were the only duo left with still like 18 players remaining. Yeah. When they get the high ground like that, they send 1 player down to get close. Scarlet was already weak, and there's just no shot. In the end, the veteran players of Zate and Saf take game number 1. And you know, Ninja, that was a big topic of conversation. Players with LAN experience, players who've been around the Fortnite competitive scene at these major events for a long time. Will they let the nerves get to them? Guess what? The answer is no. Zate and Saf take game number 1.
Kept their composure. It was absolutely incredible to watch, man. And seriously, these guys have been absolutely dominant in the World Cup qualifiers online. And it's only fair that they continue to show their dominance here at the actual World Cup stage.
Brilliant performance. You know that their game plan is always last as long as possible.
Absolutely.
But the fact that they made it through those storm surges, even with them not getting very aggressive, they had 0 limbs down to those final few moments. Mr. Savage and Benji Fishy, we have to talk about them for a second as well. The European young duo. They were on the high ground. It was looking good, Ninja, but so many players focusing them, the shockwave grenades as well, and they had no healing left.
It's unfortunate, man. We have a group full of these players who are literally the best in the world. They know exactly how to win, right? So if they don't have the high ground, they know that whenever there is a moment that they have to shoot the high ground out with rockets, shockwave grenades. I think that's actually what happened. I think someone shockwaved up and knocked them off the high ground.
Yep.
But when you have shield like Zate and Napdate at the end there, and that high ground, I mean, it's over, man.
What a sigh of relief.
Incredible,
for those 2.
Incredible first game. And we're only just getting started.
We're only just getting started. Remember, 6 games being played today in the duos competition, in which $15 million will be rewarded. Tomorrow, we do it all over again, except with solos. So you want to stay glued to the streams here for the Fortnite World Cup Finals live from New York City. Use the hashtag Fortnite World Cup. Get involved in the conversation. Send to Ninja and I your thoughts after game number 1. Who surprised you? What are you looking forward to in games 2 through 6? For me, other things I noticed, man, you've got to be on your A game. When it comes down to taking note of where you are with the storm surge, those were longer storm surges that have lasted than I've ever seen before.
I've honestly never seen storm surge affect the game so much.
Yep.
Because here we are having 80 people left after the second circle. So you know what I mean? Like, and these guys, they're not going to let you hit them. You know what I mean? And if you want to put shots on these guys, it's going to be when they're flying in the air, rotating, which you also expose yourself to a sniper shot. You know.
Absolutely.
High risk, high reward, man. Right?
It's
Let's see how these guys change. I wonder if the guys who did get hurt a lot by the storm surge, are they going to make changes in the second game? Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive and trying to deal some damage as they rotate? That's what I want to know.
That's a great way to think of it. I know there were so many people that want to give their thoughts on these games, but over at Unreal Island, we've got our very own Sundown with his thoughts on game 1.
Thank you so much, Courage and Ninja. And the first match of the duos competition is over in the Victor Royales. Well, experience wins out. We talked about Energy Zate and Ghost Saf and how they've been playing so long together, and that endgame was a prime example of textbook Zate and Saf. We're going to re-roll it one more time, and we're going to break down kind of how they were able to keep the control. Now, pay attention right away. You can see on the backside, Saf has one angle while Zate is going forward, and they're moving back over the tarps they've already established, but the angles they take make sure they're covering everything. They hear the shots below, they're putting the fire down towards them, and Scarlet is able to pick up Mitro, but doesn't have enough to get out. Zate and Saf, 5 eliminations, victory royale, 15 points, showing that their competitive experience, their experience on stage and at major LAN events is winning out right now. They say nerves, what nerves? We might as well be playing at home on our own stations because they are just that good. Match 1 is over. Time to get back over the stage for match 2. Ninja and Courage, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sundown. Great stuff as always there from Unreal Island outside of the venue enjoying the event themselves. But again, whew, game number 1 in the books. Obviously, so many updates to see exactly where we stack up. In the end, those final moments can be so hectic. So before we hop into game 2, we will have a standings update for you all at home. Who do you think's up top of it right now? Well, guess what? It's Sap and Zay, but...
And Benji, Mr. Savage, man. Just incredibly clutch solo moves and plays.
Both of our predictions.
Both of our predictions. And they're still up there. Guess what? Imagine when they're healthy and when they actually get some good rotation items. I'd love to see how they're going to play in the late game, man.
Placement points so key. You did a great job pointing out Mitro at the end. Not only does he stay alive, not only does he perfectly use his materials and his movement items, but he somehow finds 5 more limbs, putting his team from probably an abysmal game 1 to top 3 in our leaderboards. Again, here are your standings from game number 1. Dubs and Mega, they wind up making it through as well. And that's because of Mega staying alive, too.
Absolutely. Incredibly talented duo, man. Honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what Aiden can do. And Sean, hopefully they step it up in this next game. Game 2 is about to get on its way, man. Are you ready?
I am ready. Ladies and gentlemen, in this sold-out arena, are you guys ready for game number 2? Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they are. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The battle bus has launched. Game number 2 of the Fortnite World Cup Duo Finals is underway.
Again, I'm just going to keep saying it, the most nerve-wracking part of any competition, but definitely Fortnite for me, is the second you jump out of that bus.
Yep.
Right? Once you hit the ground, once these players hit the ground, they're going to definitely have hopefully less nerves, going to get back into the flow, back into the farming mentality. And man, I'm looking at these llamas on my screen. I'm just hoping that they find them. There's nothing greater than finding the new upgraded llamas at 350 mats.
Dude, they're insane. And they're everywhere. And look, wait, can we look at the map? Look at the north side. You've got 3 llamas in a very small area. And many players have gotten better at spotting llamas from very, very far away.
I mean, the one thing I was telling my teammate Malachi, I was like, listen, man, sometimes you just actually have to tell yourself, hey, we should probably look for llamas as we're flying in, because, usually you're looking for players who's going to be landing next to you. But if you actually keep an eye out for that adorable pink, purple, and blue llama.
And there's one.
I mean, look, you're just going to get rewarded with shield, rotation. There's shadow bomb storm, campfires, minis. I mean, these are incredibly valuable.
And remember, materials get capped at 500 of each type. So when you get 350, it's done its job for you. You can spend much less time looting and, farming, and much more time looting. And look at Zay perfectly using the Shadow Bomb Ninja. For players at home are wondering how he just used it for way more than the 6 seconds it actually lets you use it for. Explain a little bit of staying on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, all you have to do is just continue that jump animation. That's going to trigger the double jump. And as long as you don't touch any solid ground, you're going to be able to continue to double bounce back and forth, man. It's an incredible use of the shadow bombs, and you're probably going to see a lot of players do something like that in the late game off of other people's builds, and which is way more difficult to do that off a mountain, by the way.
For sure, as we now take a look
That storm is far,
side of the map, and this storm is very far. Great point to bring up there. We can see on our side, the zone right now basically gets cut off at Dusty Divot and Neo Tilted, and the rest of the north side of the map are in play. So everyone near the middle and south side will have to move, and you see in the elimination feed very early on, Elevate does get cut down. So a tough start for the duo from 100 Thieves right there, as you've got to wonder if Arkram's still alive. Either way, though, Daedra and M11Z
looks like they have players
down in Loot Lake. In Loot Lake, Lucky Landing, and they do have a duo nearby.
Looks like they're trying to obviously back away,